Today, to acquire a new customer is at least 7 times more expensive than retaining an existing one.
On one side, this sounds fairly simple. You make it sound so simple. And on the other side, you also say that a majority of brands are not doing even the simple stuff.
You have to be personalized. You have to stand out of the clutter. You have to bring in something that is different because, as you said, there's so much clutter in the market.
As a marketer, if you are solving for the future or even present, you have to solve for the MarTech and the data utilization from first party. And if you're not adding the layer of AI on top of it to have that additional superpower of doing things faster in terms of analysis and also in terms of content, you're probably missing out, and that will cost you.
100%. This is like a ready-made solution that you could just use and leverage on.
I've had the pleasure of conversing with several growth and marketing leaders in the Middle East region. While the understanding of the power of retention may not be fully mature yet, I've been fortunate to engage with a bunch of people who display a high level of maturity and expertise. Allow me to introduce Ruchdi Naji, the Marketing and Business Development Director at Alumina Company in Riyadh. A quick visit to Ruchdi's LinkedIn profile reveals his profound passion for data. In this episode, we delve into this very topic. We explore how many legacy businesses in the region possess vast amounts of untapped data, the challenges they face in utilizing it effectively, and why this gap exists, and what professionals like Ruchdi are doing to exactly solve for this oversight and leverage data to better serve customers. This is episode 46. Tune in. Thank you so much for doing this with us, Ruchdi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited, and thank you so much for the lovely introduction. That was very nice of you.
Awesome. So, I've been jealous of more than one things about your journey, but maybe I'll just hear the key snapshot from your end itself as to what's been the contours of your journey like.
Sure. So, if I want to talk about my career, I was blessed to have experience on both sides, the agency side and the client side. So I started my career working for an agency, a global advertising agency. I started as an account executive, and I went all the way I became the GM of the agency in around 10 years. And this is where I was exposed to a lot of sectors, different flagship brands. So it was very interesting to be at the agency side and take a look at clients from that side. But then at one point, I had the opportunity to join the client side, to basically be at holding the steering wheel. And I'm like, let me see how that is, and let me see the other side of the spectrum. This is where I joined a retailer, a very big regional retailer, and I've been working in retail for the past 6 years on the client side, handling marketing and also business development. So I've been maybe fortunate to see both sides of the same spectrum or both sides of the table.
So tell me, what's the favorite story that you have from being on this side of the table now, and how do you now interact with agencies that come pitching to you?
So I think the favorite thing about being at the client side, I'll be very honest, the client side has a lot of stress. Because you are 100% responsible. At the end of the day, the success of your initiatives, your projects are your responsibility. So this is something that, it's a big responsibility. You have to really be up for it. But so that's one side. But I think the most interesting part about the client side is that you're in control. So meaning today, you can bring in the solutions that the business needs and see the results firsthand. This is amazing. Today, with my current role, I brought in a customer data engagement platform, and we basically rolled it out just a month and a half ago, and we're already seeing results. It's amazing. This is something that's extremely important for any business. But even more important, if you're a legacy brand, a brand that has rich data, because you can leverage on the data. Today, the whole fight is about getting data, and are we using third-party cookies? How can we get third-party? If you have your own first-party data, why don't you just leverage on them?
I think this is a very, let's say, important question, which most people don't seem to be seeing at the center of everything, that you're sitting in a whole pile of data already without getting hungry and curious about more data. Are you squeezing as much juice out of the current data that you have? that's the reality most businesses don't seem to be confronting.
100%.
And you were very strongly of the view that people are not seem to be doing enough. So what's your reading of this whole state of retention marketing? And you've been a legacy marketer, you've been around for a long time, and you've been embracing this whole world of technology very efficiently and aggressively. But is that the order? Is that the norm? Is that the level of maturity commonly seen?
So I'll tell you. I mean, if I'm gonna talk about, I mean, let me talk about Saudi Arabia in general. I think in Saudi Arabia until now, I don't think. I mean, companies have definitely realized the importance of data, but I don't think they're leveraging enough on it. I mean, I'm just gonna give you something very simple, just
Yeah.
to think about. Today, to acquire a new customer is at least 7 times. I'm talking on average, and I'm talking about my industry, retail. At least on average, 7 times more expensive than retaining an existing one. So just think about that. So today, if you have this, as you said, a big pile of data, and I mean, you just need to put a little bit more effort and definitely much less investment to retain them and to make sure that they don't, go to competitors than to put all the effort on acquiring new customers. Again, acquiring new customers is very important, don't get me wrong,
Sure.
but there should be this balance. Today, what I have seen in the market is that a lot of brands make the mistake of focusing all their effort, all their marketing effort, all their communication effort on acquiring new customers. So, I mean, and I've seen it, to be honest, in my previous life. I've seen it with the with companies around. I also have a lot of chats with different marketeers. I mean, brands would lose, like X amount of customers per year, and then they would put a lot of investment to acquire new ones.
And you very normally and naturally navigated from the data centricity and first party data to customer retention. What is this linkage? Can you double click on this for us?
Very good question. So let me tell you, Ankur. So today, I'm gonna give you a small example just to make it easier for the audience to understand. So today, if you're looking at a certain customer, so let's say we have customer named Ahmed as an example. So if I look at Ahmed's pattern over the past, let's say, few years, and I understand that that customer is into gaming products as an example. So by understanding that pattern, this is where I can have customized communication that is relevant to that customer. So maybe offer the customer, let's say, the latest gadgets of Sony PlayStation, and give him first access. Maybe
Sure.
give them a certain discount on certain games. So this is where you definitely retain customers. This is where customers would be like, oh, the brand knows me personally. The brand is talking to me and understands my needs and understand what I'm looking for. And this is where you retain customers. I'm just giving you a very small
Sure.
example of a small retention example.
Sure. So, would you say that the average customer in Saudi is also experiencing global brands, and their habits are somewhat spoiled by the quality of experience offered, and hence the local regional brands, if they don't catch up on the experience, will perhaps lose out.
100%. Globally
Sure.
today, loyalty to brands is going down. So today, I mean, no customer will be loyal just because they're used to, I mean, buying from that brand. If you don't give them something tangible, something relevant, if you don't communicate with them, if they don't feel that there is value, they will just move on and go to the other competitor. I mean, again, this is not just in Saudi. This is globally. So
Sure.
today, more than ever, it's extremely important to be on your toes as a brand and to make sure that you stay relevant. You stay relevant to customers. You have a conversation with customers. I mean, I'm not gonna say mass advertising is gone. It's not gone, but it's not like before. I mean, 10 years ago, most advertising were mostly mass. I mean, you still had some targeted campaigns here and there, but it was mostly mass. Today, I think the norm today is actually customized communication, targeted communication.
In some sense, it's about the customer's attention span because it's also smaller and there are more brands in competition trying to get the same attention. which means if you don't break through the clutter, you will be irrelevant.
100%. I mean, today, as an example, I mean, we get exposed to so many ads every day. I mean, just look at your mobile phone. I mean, on average, by the way, if you're a regular mobile user, you get exposed to 300 different communications on your mobile per day. Just imagine. And I can
Yeah,
assure you, if I
that's
ask
pretty
you right
crazy.
now, name 5 of them, I'm sure you would not even remember. You might even
Yeah,
remember one, if any. So, so, so,
sure.
and today also, it's very important to communicate to customers with the sometimes with very personalized channels, having personalized messages, because this is where the brand can actually not just stand out. This is where customers would be like, oh, okay, this sounds interesting. Let me take a look at this. This is actually talking to me. Um so, and again, this goes back to the importance of leveraging on your own data and creating communication messages and using communication tools to target your own customers. And even with acquiring new customers, or with targeting audiences that aren't your customers, you have to be personalized. You have to stand out of the clutter. You have to bring in something that is different, because, as you said, there's so much clutter in the market.
Tell me something. Now, on one side, we're very obvious that we need to do these things. We need to be personalized. We need to use first-party data. On the other side, you have a lot of companies which are yet to cross that chasm, which are still doing mass communications. So, what do you think is the bottleneck? Where are they stuck?
So I'll tell you, I think there are different bottlenecks. I mean, depending on the company. Sometimes it's their lack of understanding of these tools, of these solutions. They just don't understand them. This is where uh, education, and this is where I mean, the people that are selling these solutions and providing these solutions need to sit with the owners, sit with the decision makers, and make them understand it. So one part is that the lack of understanding, as simple as that. Second part is sometimes, I mean, even when they understand it, they feel it might be beyond their capability from an IT perspective, because they don't understand that this is like I mean, it's a ready-made solution that you could just use and leverage on. So a lot of them know the importance of it, but they're like, you know what? Let me wait till I have the right IT capabilities, the right resources. But you don't need to wait for that. And some of them think it's expensive. I think mostly it's the lack of understanding the mechanism of it, the financial aspect of it, the return on investment. I mean, all of these things. But again, it's getting better and better and better. But we're still at the start of the journey, in my opinion.
As a marketing leader who's taken that aggressive forward looking step of actually embracing a customer data platform, looking at technology from that lens of being able to deliver the personalized experiences, what's been your learning? What helped you, let's say, create that business case, create that ROI plan, create that alignment with the leadership, the CFO, to make sure that this is worth investing in?
I'm going to tell you from my previous experience. So I've done two things. Number one is basically giving them examples of, so basically building a full case study of what can be done if we have this solution. So,
Okay.
I mean, if they're worried about, as an example, that they don't have enough customers transacting online, as an example. So, an omni-channel campaign where we basically motivate or entice our own, let's say, offline customers to try an experience online would definitely result with the right ROI. So building that case before we even start, showing them that a lot of their KPIs today can be met, or at least partially met, through this solution. This definitely works. So that's
Okay.
number one. And number two, it's very important that at the beginning, when you're having your, whether it's the pilot phase or you're starting the relationship with the provider, you keep the top management informed, especially with the very first campaigns. You start showing them results. This is where you get their buy-in, and this is where you can
Okay.
actually uh, 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 um, and scale it up. Because at the end of the day, today you might have the best solution in the world, But if you don't know, if you're not running it well, or you're not using it, I mean, then it becomes redundant at some point. So these two things: first,
Absolutely.
the case, build a very strong case before you even start, like a build, as they say, like a simulation kind of a model, and
Hmm.
show them the potential ROI. And number two would be involve them from the beginning, and then I think that's gonna be all fine.
So, in terms of the word of ROI, you said, is this pure in terms of attributed transactions that you will imagine coming through the incremental effort? Or what else is the definition to ROI?
Okay, very good question. I mean, ROI doesn't only mean financial. I mean, I'll give you a better example. I mean, today, if you run a website and you're having a hard time getting people to register on your website because you need their data, as an example, running a campaign, maybe with a coupon or with some sort of an incentive to motivate people to subscribe to your website or your platform, that's a non-financial campaign, because at the end of the day, the ROI here is the number or the percentage of subscribers compared to the traffic, as an example. So this is something that would definitely help you in the mid and long term, because once you have
Hmm.
this data, then you can definitely leverage more on it. Once customers are subscribed to your website, as an example, then it's super easy for them to buy. Because today, I mean, if you know you're subscribed to a specific website, with a click of a button, you can just buy whatever you want. But if you're not subscribed, it will take you more effort to put in your information. So I'm just giving you a small example of, a
Sure.
case where it's not purely financial. I mean, even if you want to understand how your services are done, how your services how are they performing in terms of satisfaction?
Hmm.
You can run these
Hmm.
satisfaction surveys and understand. I mean, where are the gaps? How can you enhance the services that you're providing? This helps you definitely with retention, and this is an ROI. ROI could be when you run them quarterly, then you see, is the let's say the satisfaction getting better. I mean, you can have different KPIs and you can see and measure, are you improving or not improving? Where are the areas that still need development?
Yeah, but typically when you're trying to drive large investments, and that's also, is this a lot of investment we're talking about? Because the larger the investment, the bigger the business case, and the harder the goals on numbers. Some of these things you spoke about seem soft KPIs, and if there's not a lot of dollar value attached to this, people might self-be okay. So what's this whole lens? Is this a lot of investment to go this path around CDPs, CDPs, or is that a misconception?
It's definitely a misconception. It's not a lot of investment at all. It's actually extremely reasonable, and the ROI is far greater. So, speaking of financials, I'm going to give you something extremely basic, that it's ABC for businesses, for e-commerce businesses, but you'd be surprised that today 90% of businesses in our region don't even use it, which is cart abandonment. I mean, this is something of an ABC. I mean, today, if you leave your
Sure.
cart, if you abandon your cart, I mean, just imagine this very, very, very easy, simple campaign where you basically send them a reminder. I'm not even talking about an incentive. I'm just talking about sending them a reminder that they've left their cart abandoned.
Right.
So imagine that campaign. I'm Again, I've run it in the past without an incentive, and it gave me amazing results. So I'll give you a very small example. So I mean,
Hmm.
the 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 people that went back and bought without giving them, let's say, a reminder. uh, I'm just going to put it as an example. So let's say they were
Sure.
1%,
Hmm.
as an example.
Yeah.
When we've done the reminder, they became 2%. So we've doubled that. I'm just giving you an example,
Double.
and this is without an
Yeah.
incentive. So imagine if you give a
Sure.
small incentive, or obviously
Hmm.
with certain audiences, then you might even triple it. So
Sure.
just think about that. So if you were getting, so every day, if you were getting, I don't know, out of the people that were abandoning their cart, if, as an example, 50 of them were going back and buying, if you run that campaign, they might become 100. So just think
Sure.
about it financially, and that's just one day. So, and that's just a very, very simple ABC campaign that you could
Use
do
case.
with a data engagement platform.
So on one side, it's not too expensive. And would you consider a phased incremental rollout of some kind, or how do these investments stagger? Do you start small? Do you grow further, or how do you play it out?
I always prefer to go with baby steps. I mean, today, if it's something new to the business, they're not used to it, you go with baby steps. You start with the essentials, with the fundamentals. You start with a few campaigns. You see the ROI, you build reports, you build the case, and then you scale it up and up and up and up. Because at the end of the day, listen, as I said, the ROI is great, but there's obviously, I mean, you also need to invest time and effort and sometimes money because you need to give with certain campaigns, you have to give an incentives. With certain campaigns, you'll be using, I mean, social media and SMSs and other mediums that you'll have to pay for, obviously.
What are the caveats to keep in mind when choosing a solution or a partner?
I think there are a few things you have to look at. Number one, I mean, obviously the credibility of the company and seeing that they have the right expertise, they have the right solution. There's customer satisfaction, so client satisfaction, so meaning that others have tried it out and they had a very good experience. So this is number one. Number two, obviously, I mean, the support at the beginning, what kind of support they're going to give you first few months, the implementation itself, the execution, the integration. All of these are very very important. And obviously, the third part would be the financial proposal. It has to be competitive and it has to be reasonable.
So, in terms of just the mistakes that get made during this process, do people go overboard with respect to comparing features while not do enough homework on the end goal that they want to achieve? Because we see that happen in our world. I'm curious, what's your impression?
Yes, yes, 100%. And not just that, I think with certain clients, again, it's a lack of experience, lack of. I mean, they sometimes they don't understand the solution, so sometimes they focus on certain features that are actually maybe they're secondary or they're not really relevant to that solution. I mean, today
Hmm.
it's about leveraging on data. Today it's on making sure that you keep a conversation going on with your existing customers and I mean any audiences that touch base with you. I mean, today it's not just about your existing, actually it's also about anyone that any person that just goes to your website and surfs, that is a target. I mean, so these are the features you need to focus on. Sometimes there's a lot of misconception where they think that such a solution could be, let's say, an alternative to certain mediums or to digital marketing. Actually, it complements digital marketing. It really complements it, but it does not I mean, wave it off. So this is where the misconception is.
And that's why you say the education has to play a big piece. And looks like services in terms of consulting on use cases as well as delivering ROI would also be an important lens to apply while trying to make it happen.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Awesome. So, Ruchdi, tell me what's your favorite story from the MarTech implementation, either as a marketer who's implemented something or as a consumer who's experienced something from some brand somewhere, anywhere in the world.
Lovely, lovely. So for me, so again, this is with my previous life, as they say. So we had, so um, I'm going to talk about two campaigns that I've actually run myself, and
Hmm.
honestly, the results were outstanding. So we've looked at our, I mean, with my previous campaign, we looked at our data, and we've noticed that every year we had a certain percentage of customers that were actually leaving and never coming back. So we're losing certain percentage of customers every single year. And so we thought, why don't we just work on a campaign where we try to actually uh, get back some of these customers that left us. So we've
Hmm.
identified the period. Of course, we did not go too far away because then it becomes redundant. So we've looked at
Yeah.
a 2 year period. So anybody that left us 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, and a year ago. And we've done these very customized messages because these customers, we have
Hmm.
their information.
Sure.
We have a lot of things about them. We have their phone number, their email, sometimes even in some instances, their full names. So we sent out these communication telling them that you were missed. and we gave them something very simple, a coupon, saying that we would love to see you within the next 1 month. You would be
Okay.
shocked. So, because again, what people don't understand is that, especially when it comes to consumer electronics retail, I mean, 90% of what we sell, 90% are more or less the same. So sometimes it's as simple as, I mean, I moved from one neighborhood to the other, and just out
Hmm.
of convenience, I decided to go with a competitor, because at the end of the day, I mean, from a consumer perspective, they have what I want. So
Yeah.
sometimes all what it takes is this small reminder that we're here,
Hmm.
we care about you, we miss you, and here's an additional incentive. And what's crazy, Ankur, is that after we run this campaign, we looked at 6 months later to see how many of these customers came back again, because I'm pretty sure
Sure.
some of them just use it once and then never come back. And
Yeah.
we were pleasantly surprised that actually a very big percentage of them basically transacted again. So so
Fair
so
enough.
so, so if you allow me, so this is one case. Yeah, tell me.
Of course. No, no, go ahead.
So this is one case that I believe a lot of brands, a lot of businesses would be very hesitant to go through, because for them, anyone that left, they just left. We don't need to even try to get them back. But that's not true, because at the end of the
Hmm.
day, I mean, yes, some have left because maybe they've left the country, maybe they've completely had a very hard decision not to come back. Yeah, that definitely is there. But you have a lot of customers that maybe just need a sweet message. Maybe they need a reminder that we're here. Maybe they need a small incentive. I mean, there are a lot of ways to get back these customers. So this was one successful case study.
Oh,
Another very important case study that I think is very important for any omni-channel retailer. I mean, today I'm gonna give you an example about. I'm gonna give you some numbers about our sector. I think this will be great for the
sure.
audience to hear. So today, in consumer electronics, and again, I'm talking about the sector in general. So before COVID, 95% of all transactions were offline, meaning they all happened
Sure.
at the stores, and 5% were online. That's pre-COVID.
Hmm.
By, let's say, post-COVID, or by the end of the COVID era, that 5% became 15%, for obvious reasons. People, changed behavior. People got used to buying online during COVID.
Sure.
Became 15. Today, we stand at 24%. So
Wow.
the trend is definitely going online.
Hmm.
And I'm not going to say that's going to completely substitute the offline business. It won't, but it's going to keep on eating more and more and more and more and more from the offline business. Especially, and with certain categories, they might become 90% online. So we've done a campaign, and this is something very important for us. So very important for any omni-channel retailer to do, or any omni-channel business to do. So we've done a campaign where basically, I mean, businesses, legacy brands that have been in business for the past 10, 15, 20, 30 years, they obviously have a lot of data. And most of their transactions were actually offline rather than online. Again, I'm talking about the omni-channel retail, because all of them have started offline, and then they've added
Of
their
course.
e-commerce business. So this is an opportunity to invite customers that have never transacted online to transact online. This is where you run a campaign with a certain incentive, with a certain, let's say, maybe explanation, just some hook that will bring these people to buy online.
And what's been, generally speaking, the benchmark on conversion rates? So you spoke about the online share becoming 5 to 24%, but there's a lot of offline only customers which have now started to come online. Some of it might have happened as a result of some of the campaigns you've tried to do. What's the best ways to do some of these campaigns? What are the use cases?
To basically, you're talking about moving customers from offline to online.
Yes.
For me, the best one would be is to basically give them a coupon, because giving them a coupon, you're telling them you have nothing to lose, give it a try, and you can do something smart where basically you give them, let's say you give them a coupon of 50 riyals, but you put a minimum purchase amount. So you tell them, here is a 50 riyal coupon. on your first 300 riyal and above purchase. So that way, it's feasible for you, and you're giving a lot of value to your customers. It's a win-win situation.
Sure. And one of the use cases I heard was around people who bought, let's say, cell phones should be offered accessories or covers for phones in 15 days, 20 days, 30 days. So there
Ooh.
may be incentives or otherwise, but that should drive some offtake.
Let me give you actually an interesting case study about that. So I've actually run a campaign that worked very, very well. So today, um, this is a cross-selling campaign. Where basically you want to make sure that your customer buys complementary products to the principal product that they bought. So if they bought an iPhone, or I mean like a mobile, then they would buy the accessories of that mobile, and so on and so forth. So
Sure.
what we've done, we've actually worked on two things here. So what you need to do, you will need to do two things, I think, to make it very successful. Number one, you need to offer some sort of an incentive. So you tell customers that uh, let's say, congratulations on your latest purchase of X mobile. Here is
Hmm.
a 20% off on any accessory. But then, this is number one. Number two, you basically combine it with urgency. So you tell them 20% off if you buy it within the next 48 hours. You don't even say a week or 10 days because that's too long.
Sure.
You just give them
Okay.
48 hours. Trust me.
And that works?
People, you would be surprised because then people would think that they're missing out, and they are missing out. They'll be like, oh, I don't want to miss out on this. So there is
Of course.
the FOMO effect, the fear of missing
The
out,
classic marketer's tool.
100%. So imagine combining this with an incentive. I mean, we had, I mean, so we've done these campaigns. At the end of the day, we have a certain target. We call it the attachment rate. So to a certain target where, with like a certain percentage where that we need to reach for invoices that combine both the principal product and its
Sure.
accessory. And we've actually not just reached it, we've surpassed it with such a campaign. But again, I mean, these campaigns, you do them periodically, and these campaigns also help you in the long run, because when you have these campaigns, customers feel that you're really talking to them. You're like, you're having a conversation with them, and you're reminding them of what matters.
And you said this, uses 50 real order on a coupon or a voucher on a minimum 300 real order.
Yeah.
Is this culturally normal in the region to have aggressive discounting? Because, where we come from in India, brands have gotten really aggressive. Here, if you're ordering food worth 250 rupees, there'd be a brand which is willing to give you a discount of 150 rupees.
Okay.
What is the level of aggression in your markets, and how desperate are people to get people to shop online?
Extremely good question. So let me tell you. I mean, consumer electronics is a high volume, low margin business. So today you need to sell volumes to be able to be profitable because the margins are small. Yet, something very important to note, there are certain categories and subcategories within consumer electronics that are very profitable. And this is where you can actually put your major discount. So as an example,
Yeah.
mobile phones have extremely low margins. This is, I'm talking about the sector, but their
Sure.
accessories have very high margins. So you
Sure.
might not be able, actually, you can't give any significant discount on mobiles. It's impossible. But you can give
Sure.
significant discount on accessories.
Sure.
So this is where the game is. So
Hmm.
you would focus on accessories or certain subcategories where you have high margin. Another example is services. Today in consumer
Right.
electronics, services and warranty, all of these have high margins, and they're very valuable to customers. So this is where you can give certain incentives. So sometimes you don't need to give a coupon. Sometimes, I mean, if you want people to buy mobiles from you, and you can't afford to give them any discount. You can't afford to give them any coupon, even if it's a 50 real coupon. You can't afford to do that. What you can
Hmm.
easily do is basically give them a service, telling them, you know what, here is a 1 year accidental warranty, completely free, because your margins are very high over there. So,
Sure.
so, so this is where, I mean, I mean, marketing and commercial need to really talk and see where's the room to give, let's say, more incentives. And this is where you can reach your results with the, I mean, lowest investment possible.
So, is this become a common battleground between brands? Because the more brands that want to compete for the same wallet, the more they'll probably make aggressive offers or attractive offers to the consumers, and the more the consumer will have choice and hence get distracted.
Wait, so again, now we're jumping to another topic. So listen, being aggressive, and I wouldn't say aggressive, being competitive is very important. But if your value proposition is just being competitive and just basically offer driven, then you lose in the long run. Because today, I mean, you can't keep on competing on price, especially in a low margin sector like consumer electronics. So today,
Sure,
this is, again, price is very important, but there are
sure.
other things that customers will also look at. One of them is experience. So the experience at the store, the experience online. Other thing is services. Today, having a full ecosystem. So today, if I'm buying a laptop as an example, and you provide warranty for that laptop, and you provide
Hmm.
certain services like setting up the laptop, maintaining the laptop remotely, and so on and so forth. You have the full ecosystem. If you have the range of accessories, sometimes just having the range of accessories that you need without giving any discount, this would put you at the top of the list in the consumer's eyes. So all of these things, having the full ecosystem, the right services, the right experience, coupled with the right price, obviously, this will make you win. But just focusing on being aggressive or being having the best price, this will not lead you anywhere. And again, speaking of experience, even I mean, the customer data platform, I mean, it's not, the campaigns don't need to be offer driven or incentive driven always. Not necessarily. Sometimes a simple message, if you know that a specific customer is into Apple products, you can easily know that through the
Hmm.
customer data platform. If I know
Yeah.
that customer X for the past 4 years has been buying most flagship Apple products, as an example. So if I give them early access to, let's say, the latest iPhone with a specific color, as an example, they would definitely appreciate it at the original price. Or maybe give them access to latest accessories, maybe some special edition accessories. I mean, all of these things will just show the customers that you care. And this has zero investment. This is just show. This is basically and
Yeah.
just about understanding what customers want.
So, in some sense, we're tying together this whole lens on maximizing customer lifetime value by effective personalized communication and recommendations. The moment you said Apple enthusiasts should get Apple notifications first, we're talking about a degree of personalization, a degree of
Yes.
segmentation. And automatically, that leads us to more repeat behavior, more better utilization of first party data, better lifetime value, so to speak, and hence being able to ward off competition because the customer wanted to buy an accessory. Either he would have bought from you or from somewhere else. If you're doing all those things very well in terms of servicing and also being effective with your communication, then you have a steady long term play going on with the customer.
100%, 100%. I mean, you just summarized it very, very well. I mean, today it's about customization. Today is about customer need to feel that you're talking to them and not talking to the masses. They need to feel that. They need to feel that you understand them. And if you're doing that with or without an incentive, I mean, you're definitely doing a good job.
Awesome. So I'm going to change tracks a little bit. We've spoken about some serious stuff, but personalization seems to come pretty naturally to you. And I know you've traveled to a fairly large number of countries,
Yeah.
and there's a very diverse population that's now there in the geographies you're operating in as well. So help us understand, contextualize personalization, and the whole cultural context of what your journey looks like.
Yes. So actually, I've been to 71 different countries. I mean, this is my traveling is my biggest ambition in life. I'm going to be very honest because I was always very interested in cultures, very interested in people. And, you know, the more I traveled, the more I understood. how to communicate with people from different backgrounds, from different walks of life. I mean, I think one thing that I think traveling gave me two great things. Number one is experience. I mean, I was fortunate and blessed and lucky to experience. I mean, I've had experiences across so many countries and across different. I mean, I'm gonna sometimes when people ask me, I tell them it's like I've had different lives because when you go to certain remote places that have very different cultures from yours, you're really experiencing life in a very different format. So number one is experience, but number two, what it gave me is basically it strengthened my people skills. Today, I am a better presenter, I'm a better communicator because I have talked to people from very different cultures, from very different walks of life. I was able to put myself in their own shoes, as they say. I understood their aspirations, I understood their life ambitions, and that definitely helped me out in my personal life and for sure in my career life.
So, what's the implication for personalization in your professional life when it comes to this whole cultural learning that you've had with so many exposures?
So, very good question. So, I'm going to give you an example today. I mean, today, if you want to communicate something to to someone, I mean, let's say you have something to say, and you want to communicate it to three people. If you say it the exact same way to the three people, one of them might be receptive, but the two others will not. You're exactly saying the
Sure.
same thing, but if you say it in a way that is relevant to them, say it in a way that they would understand, speak it in a language they understand, then I can make sure that the three of them would be receptive. And this applies to business as well. I mean, today, if you're a manager and you have employees under you, I mean, you can't speak the same way to every single employee because they have different personalities, they have different aspirations, they're at different career stages, and customers are the same. I mean, today, if I'm a customer and you talk to me about if I'm a male customer as an example, and you try to promote me a female product, I might be really turned off and I'd be like, you know what, you don't even know who you're talking to. I mean, as an
Yeah.
example,
Sure.
if today I'm somebody that I've been always looking for entry level products, as an example, and then you communicate to me this flagship product from a flagship brand. I mean, I'm not going to be interested because I cannot afford it.
Yeah.
You're just making me feel worse. So I'm just giving you an example,
Sure.
and even today, I'm going to go even a level further. Even if the product is relevant to me, if the language you're using in your communication is not relevant, I might not be receptive. If the way you're saying it is not a way that is relevant to me and a way that I would appreciate, I might just ignore it. So as I said, I mean, this is something that I was blessed to learn from interacting with people from different backgrounds all over the world, and this is how brands today need to communicate. Like I mean, you have no choice. And the I mean, the good news is you have solutions and tools that do that for you. That's what a lot of businesses don't know and don't and this is where it becomes easy. I mean, I don't need to think about every single message I want to send to a customer. Obviously not. Then I won't be able to do anything else in my life. There's a solution for that.
On one side, you say there is no choice, which is what's making it, it's not a good to have anymore. It's almost essential. And if you are outside of this, in some sense, race, then perhaps you will have an existential crisis in the next 5 years. Is that something you would put in that stark a tone? Or is that too strong a
No,
word?
no, no, no. That's actually extremely fair. I mean, today you have a lot of businesses, especially legacy businesses, that are doing great. They're very successful. But today, if they don't start leveraging on their data and let's say protecting, today they need to protect their customer base. They need to protect their position in the market. If they don't do that today,
Hmm.
5, 6, 7 years from now, they might even become redundant. Because new players are coming to the market every single day, providing wonderful experiences, bringing sometimes even better products, better services. I mean, but again, something that a lot of legacy brands forget is that today you're actually in a much stronger position than them because you have these customers already. You have them. You just need to make sure you retain them because the newcomers will have to work so hard, even if they have the best offers, even if they have the best services, the best experiences, but they still have to work so hard to acquire new customers. While you don't need to work that hard, you just need to use the right solution, the right tools to retain your own customers.
In some sense, does this also have to do with bringing in the right kind of leadership which can think natively in this dimension? Because I don't know if there are enough marketing leaders who spend 10, 20, 25 years in the industry and you can talk the language of data and personalization in the same breath as they talk about brands and creativity.
Listen, Ankur, that's a very, very good point that you just raised. So I'll tell you one thing, and this is an advice that I give to a lot of my colleagues.
Mhm.
Marketers that I meet, on regular basis. Today every single marketeer has certain gaps. No marketeer is perfect, and some marketeers have more experience than others. This is normal. Today, you have partners that have the right solutions for you. Today, if you have the right vision, you partner up with these, uh, 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 solution providers and create a partnership with them, and then they can help you fill in these gaps. They can help you to bridge the gap that you have within the organization or even within yourself. Today, as I said, nobody's perfect. We all need to work with different partners to achieve our objectives.
But doesn't that sometimes get tricky because everyone's out there to sell, and you're there to buy, but you're also overwhelmed.
This is where you need to have a list of priorities. Today, obviously, you want to bring in all the right solutions for the business, but you need to really work on a priorities list. There are certain fundamentals, and one of them for me, 100% is data, leveraging on data and having the right solution for that. And obviously, there are others as well. So you need to set your priorities right and start with the fundamentals and then grow from there.
There's no other way, right? Just go by the basics,
Yeah,
and
of
if you do
course,
the
of course,
basics all right, you'll be okay.
of course.
But it's so counterintuitive that on one side this sounds fairly simple. You make it sound so simple, and on the other side you also say that a majority of brands are not doing even the simple stuff. So something or the other
Listen,
is
listen,
holding them back.
listen. It's simple because I've experienced it, I've seen it, I've done it, and that's why I
So
know
for
it's
you, it's
simple.
simple.
No, not just for me, because I experienced it. Today the others. It's not that it's not simple for them. It's a lack of information. It's a lack of maybe they don't understand the solution. They don't understand the tool. They think it's a very expensive one. They think it needs a lot of capabilities. So the more, and we're getting there. As I said, we're at the beginning of the journey, but we're heading there. We're heading there. We're
Of
gonna need
course.
time. So the more businesses understand these solutions, I think definitely the more they're going to have them. Because as I said, this is not rocket science, but for some of them, it seems rocket science because they don't understand it. But it's actually
Sure.
pretty simple. The solution itself is complicated, but you don't need to worry about the programming of the solution. This is being done by the
Yeah.
providers. But today, as a marketer or as a business owner, you don't need to worry about all of that. This is a plug-in solution that you just use and you get instant ROI.
Okay, that's great words to close the conversation on. Thank you so much, Ruchdi. I was actually going to ask you a couple of more things around the whole lens on AI, given that all that buzzword around that exists. So, if you have some flavors around how you're using AI, if at all.
Sure, sure, sure. Thanks a lot to you. So again, today, any solution, whether it's a MarTech solution or fintech solution or any kind of solution, needs to be powered by AI. Today AI is a fundamental aspect of any sustainable solution. So today, something that you could use for AI. So we've been talking about leveraging on customer data. So looking at their past pattern and accordingly, let's say, targeting them with the right communication. AI can help you as well predict the future pattern. This is where AI can help you. So today, based on certain, let's say, customer behavior, AI can help you predict what would be their behavior in the coming year. And this is where you can actually plan your communication ahead of time based on the AI's predictions. And this is what I'm doing today, and this is where a lot of marketers globally are doing. So today we are predicting that, and also with AI, you can leverage much more on your data because it also gives you certain analysis that sometimes it's not easy for human beings to actually do in a short period of time. It might take them much more time to do it, and honestly, in a much more accurate way. So it helps you a lot with predictions, and it helps you a lot with analysis.
And also then content, because there's all that Gen AI also coming in.
This is, I mean, don't start me on that.
Don't get you started.
Yeah.
Of course.
So with content, that's amazing. I mean, today, I'm going to give you an example. I mean, today, if you're looking at websites in general, I mean, today AI will help you generate content that is not just relevant to the product and the page, but also relevant to customers, and that also goes with the algorithm of Google. So today, if a customer is searching for a specific product, you would appear as part of the first results, just because the content was very relevant. And for that to be done in an accurate way, you definitely need AI. Definitely need AI. Because AI will combine all of these, will make sure that the content is relevant to Google, relevant to the customer, relevant to the product, relevant to your own brand and your own values and your own persona as a brand. So, I mean, listen,
So in some sense,
AI, I used to say AI is the future. AI is the present. So let's see what's going to happen in the future. Today, AI is the present. So today, if you're not using AI, you're still in the past. You're not in as a marketer, you're not in the present anymore.
that's a strong statement to make, but thank you for having a very clear opinion about these things, that as a marketer, if you are solving for the future or even present, you have to solve for the MarTech and the data utilization from first party. And if you're not adding the layer of AI on top of it to have that additional superpower of doing things faster in terms of analysis and also in terms of content, you're probably missing out, and that will cost you.
100%.
Super cool. Thank you so much for this conversation, Ruchdi. It was amazing to hear the insights. We call it the state of retention marketing because we don't feel there's one specific perfect answer. We feel that there is, a whole spectrum of, let's say, levels at which people are. And that's a journey, like you said, of maturity, where people will start somewhere, then they'll graduate, or to a mature nirvana kind of ecosystem. So super excited to see how it plays out in your geography and Albania. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ankur, so much for having me. I was very happy to share, some of my knowledge and some of my experience. Thank you for being a great host.
Absolutely amazing.
And a great.
Thank you so much. I could really keep going on and on about what got me thinking about this episode. But seriously, there's something so much valuable about broadening your horizons through travel. Ruchdi's gotten a snack for it, right? He's been around for a while and he's been to 70 odd countries. That's why he's so sharp on personalization, segmentation, and data. Makes you think, doesn't it? Anyway, if you found this episode as intriguing as I did, make sure to stick around, hit that subscribe button, and share it with anyone you think will, not really understand how important data could be in their lives. Thank you.